Hello friends, Drew here in beautiful Avondale, Pennsylvania, working on the door side entry here to a house. Norm spent the morning kind of opening this thing up and getting it apart. We came out and looked at this a couple of days ago, and we're trying to decide, do we need to replace the whole door or can we just take care of the brick mold? And decided that we were going to be able to save the door and save them that expense and just focus on doing the exterior. But we can't just replace the brick mold because that doesn't solve the underlying problem. What the original door had come with was prime finger jointed brick mold wood, and customer admits they didn't do a great job of keeping the paint on it, which allowed moisture to get in and begin to eat away at the wood. So that was part of the problem, number one. But whenever we start looking at doors, there's always more to the situation than meets the eye. So of course we get everything apart, and what do we find? Instead of having house wrap that comes all the way across your OSB sheathing and wraps into the door jamb, which is what we would like to see, where it would wrap in behind here before the door was installed. That way any water that comes down, we can seal the brick mold right to that house wrap. That's going to keep the moisture out. What they did is they just ran tar paper up as they ran the siding up with the J-channel, and a couple places here it doesn't quite cover all the way. And whether the moisture soaked through the prime finger jointed brick mold and then into and then started damaging the sheathing here, it's not too far gone. It's still in decent shape. I don't think we need to do anything with this right now. But we're going to do some things with house wrap to get over that to help prevent it from happening in the future. This just wasn't run the way it should have been run. So that's caused a couple of problems. There's some minor damage here. I think they're all right. We don't have to spend the money to replace the door. But they definitely want to keep some paint on it. We've got a little bit of water damage to the jamb down here, but it hasn't gotten so far that it's into the jamb to the point where we're either puttying the whole jamb or we've got to take it apart and put a new door in. So, but a couple things that we can do when we're looking at these doors is we want to see, how is it flashed up above here? Is the house wrap out over a drip cap? Is there an aluminum drip cap that runs up behind, comes down like a Z shaped out over the front edge to bring any water down that comes on the face of this out? Is that there? Is the house wrap into the jamb? Is there insulation between the jamb and the door? And then is the brick mold sealed into the house wrap there? So when we're replacing doors, and we do get into this a lot, we'll find that there may be water damage at the bottom, where water has gotten down into the subfloor, into the joists, the rim boards, the ribbon joists, whatever happens, whichever side of the house we happen to be on, and sometimes that needs to be addressed as well. We can get in and take care of all that. When we put these back in, we are now quoting, we don't quote steel doors anymore, we don't quote wood jambs anymore. If you're coming up to us for a door quote, we're going to quote you a fiberglass door, we're going to quote you a full composite jamb, and what that does is that makes you impervious to any water damaging the door unit itself. And then when we go to put that in, what I just talked about, we're going to have the house wrap run into the jamb, and then we're going to seal that brick mold into the house wrap, so it should prevent the water from getting behind there and help prevent any future issues with water getting down to those other materials that would cause more extensive damage down the road. So we've learned a thing or two taking these things apart, and that way we know when we put them back together how we're going to do it in such a way that it's going to be belt and suspenders. It's not just going to be done, it's going to be coat built. So if you're looking for a new door, if you've got some water damage that you suspect, maybe you see a little bit of damage showing up, a little bit of swelling, a little bit of discoloration at the bottom of the trim on either side of the door, those vertical casing pieces, that's the first place that it starts to show up. Sometimes you'll see it on the outside. If you need to get a quote for that, just get a rough measurement on the door. You know, is it a 28, a 30, a 32, a 36? How wide is the door? How tall is the door? It's probably about 80 inches. Send us a picture inside and out, and we can take that information, go to our supplier, and get you a ballpark price for what it's going to be for us to replace that door for you, get it out, get it back in, and then we'll usually give you a guess as to what water damage may run to fix if we find any. We've done enough of these now that we kind of know that if we find it, here's generally speaking what it runs. So we can talk about those numbers depending on your situation. Is it single door, double door, French, slider? Where is it? Is the deck right up level with the door, or is it down a step? We typically like, if we're going to build a deck on this, we're going to put that deck down about 8 inches. And that way any snow that builds up on that, any rain or water that's down there can't get blown in under the door. That's another place that water often gets in. We want to look and see if there's a pan there. On this door, there is a plastic pan underneath. We can fabricate them out of aluminum. You can do them out of ice and water shield and flashing materials. There's different ways to do the pan, but does the door have a pan? And if it doesn't, we need to put one in. Making sure that deck is down a step, making sure that there's ice and water shield behind the deck, making sure there's Z-flashing on the deck, so that we make sure that all the layers are correct, that as the water comes down, it keeps getting pushed to the outside and it never has a chance to get to that structural part of the house where it can do damage. So Drew and Norm hanging out here in Avondale, Pennsylvania. We got everything apart, and we need to take down the J channel, fix the house wrap, get that where it needs to be, and then start putting it all back together. I'm running to the store to grab some paint so we can paint the new PVC plastic brick mold to match what they have going on here existing, and so it'll match with their storm door. And then we're ready to get rocking and rolling. If you need an addition built, custom dream home, finish your basement, build a garage, new master bath renovation, hall bath renovation, kitchen makeover, whatever it might be, 𝗗𝘁'𝘀 Construction and Renovation is here to help solve that problem for you. We are a Pennsylvania home improvement contractor number 𝗗𝘂𝘀𝘁, local, trusted, reputable, reliable, registered, and insured. If we can help solve a problem for you, give our office staff a call weekdays, 9:30 in the morning until 2 in the afternoon at 484-748-0008. Choose option 2 for 𝗗𝘁'𝘀 Construction and Renovation, and extension 2 for new projects, and we'll be happy to assist you with whatever might be giving you a hard time at your house. Remember, when we're finished with it, it's not just done, it's 𝗗𝘁 built. We'll catch you guys on another video. Bye for now.